Hello everybody, welcome back. Today I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in this little outlet here. I'm going to put in this outlet right here next to my breaker panel so that I can connect my generator to it. We actually have a storm coming this weekend. This is, I think it's called Isaias. And we got this generator last season, and as of right now it just kind of came with this cord. I cut it actually, but it was just a cord. One end plugs into the generator and then the other end plugs in like that, and you just have a couple outlets that you can connect to. But what I'm going to do is I already cut it, and I'm going to install this mount right here like this with a connector in it. I'm going to take this plug and make it end on that wire like that, so I can take this wire, plug it into this outlet, and then this outlet is going to run into my breaker panel. I'm going to install a new breaker right here. This way I can just take that wire, plug it into that outlet, and it'll backfeed into my breaker panel and power my house. So first thing I want to do is take off this panel and take a look inside this breaker panel. Now that I have that panel off, first thing I want to do is I want to make sure that my breaker that I bought will actually fit. I didn't actually test it first. Let's make sure that that's off. So what I'm doing is just beating out that little pop out right there. And then I should be able to grab these needle nose, don't touch nothing, and just kind of bend it back until it pops off. Small change of plans. There was a stud right on the outside of that. So I originally wanted to put my box like right here-ish, but because there's a stud right there, so instead what I'm gonna do, I don't wanna drill through that. There's an empty hole up there, so I'm just gonna put it up here, probably in line with those three things. And then I can drill in through the backside and come out of that hole right there. Okay, so I am going to mount my box right about there, kind of in line with those things, but I wanna get a screw into the stud, which is right in line here. That's why I don't wanna go this ways, even though it would look nicer. I want to go this ways because that plug is hard to pull out, and I don't want to put too much tension on the sheetrock. So if I have one right in the stud, then I don't have to worry about this box falling out. So I'm going to make a hole right where that hole is, and then that will come right underneath here, and I should be able to get it into that hole and then into my breaker panel. I made my hole and I pull the wire through, come out of there. So now that's gonna run down and go into my breaker right there. I'm just gonna tape these other wires up to it and use it as a pull. So now I got my wires ran through into the breaker panel, through the wall, into this box right here, screwed into the stud. I'm probably gonna add a couple more just sheetrock screws just to give it a little more strength. And then I can start wiring my outlet. Okay, now I got that thing screwed in there and level and tight. I got that wire hanging out and start wiring to this outlet. So I had to get, my generator is actually rated for 30 amps, but they only had 20 amp receptacles in stock. You have to get the weakest rating for the weakest component in your system. So even though my generator is 30 amps, if I put a 30 amp breaker here and a 30 amp plug here, but only a 20 amp receptacle here, this would burn up, and that's very dangerous. So because they only had 20 left, I had to get a 20 this, a 20 plug. Where's a circuit breaker? I had to get a 20 circuit breaker. I had to get everything for 20. So I actually won't be getting full performance out of my generator, but it's all they had in stock, and the storm is this weekend, so that's all I had. But that's important. So now I'm gonna wire these wires to this outlet. This is pretty self-explanatory. I see my brass is hot, and I know that X is hot, W is white for neutral, green is ground. So I have one hot there, neutral and ground. And then that'll sit in there like that. Oops, so now I got my outlet wired. One hot to hot, white to silver, hot to hot, ground to ground. I wanna make sure there's no like loose frayed strands sticking out that could possibly cause a short. There's not. You wanna give these a wiggle test, make sure they're tight in there. They are, again, no strands out. Probably what I'm gonna do with this, because I don't really like that it's a steel housing. I'm just gonna put a little layer of electrical tape around this just to protect it a little bit. Yeah, just kind of like that, just to give a little extra layer of protection. That's all. It can't be too safe. And then I'll pull those wires in, and then that'll sit in like that, just like that. And then I got this cool little stainless steel case to go over it. Yeah, like that. Now my plug will get into it. So I think I'm gonna go make my harness right now, and then I'll start wiring this breaker panel. Okay, so let's open this baby. Feed that right through there. Knife. Cut back some of this jacket. Make sure we didn't ding our wires on the inside. We look good. And then for sure, I left a bunch of my tools. So I have like my side cutters and things like that, but a poor carpenter blames his tools. That's what I like to say. If I was a weirdo. Okay, cool. Just like that. Again, I don't have my wire strippers. See, I check my wires because you see that little ding right there? I don't like that, so I'm gonna make my cut there so that ding is gone. Yeah, I don't want any, yeah, I must have nicked it when I was, I don't know if you guys can see that, I must have nicked it while I was stripping it. But that's just a little bit, so. But that's why you check. Yeah, no, it's all okay. Alright, so now let's see if we can strip this with these needle nose. Again, I'm just always in the habit of acting like wires are live. Obviously this isn't, but I just like doing ground first, then neutral, then my hots. So this is the same setup. Green is ground. I got one hot right here, one hot right here. Let's see, there should be a, no, that's silver. That's my W right there. So I got my green ground right here. Make sure you guys can see good. That's in there, wiggle test. Yeah, good. Let's get white into W. There. That's one there nice and good like that. Let's get our little plug right here. This one. That, and then the wire clamp right here. Okay, now that I got my wire harness made and it fits in there nice and good like. Yep, it's in there. That's done, that's done. Now all that's left to do is wire the breaker. Clamp in that hole right there, that metal's sharp, and with your wires rubbing against that metal, it has a tendency to cut the jacket and then make contact and short. So this wire clamp will prevent that. So now with that cable clamp in, it will pinch down on those wires and they won't move, which means they won't rub up against the metal and scratch. Okay, so my ground wire routed nicely with my other wires into my grounding block. And then I got my neutral wire routed with those wires into my grounding neutral bar. So now I'm just going to do my two hots, red and black, into my breaker panel, and then just click it in. We should be able to test pretty soon. So I got my wires connected to my circuit breakers, and then these just kind of clip into the grooves and then snap into the bus bar. Clip in like that, and then push in like that. Put in. I don't think my back one clipped. Now, as long as those are off, you know, this is not, I'm not in any danger there. And then I'm just gonna dress these wires up a little bit. And that'll be like that. My outlet's going into my box. The ground wire ran down to the ground bar. Neutral wire ran down to the neutral bar. And then both hots come down. And then they connect in like that. And then I like leaving a little gap just so I know for sure which one my generator is. And I should, let's test it before I put the whole thing back. So I just popped a little hook in the wall because I think I'm gonna hang this wire there. And then also I don't want the weight to pull on this wire. So I'm gonna leave a hook there so the weight's there. But then I'm gonna ready to get my wire, plug it into my generator, turn it on. And then I for sure, if you don't know this, you definitely need to kill the main power first before you turn on your auxiliary power. So I'm gonna probably kill all my breakers, turn this off, start my generator, then turn this on, then turn one breaker at a time. Heyo! That's it, works. I had this one breaker on, which was that front light, and everything was off, and that generator was on and that power was running, so that's sweet. So now I can turn everything back on. So I want this to be for sure. I want to make sure that's off. I really should disconnect this first if I really want to be. Oh, it's nice and snug in the wall there. And now I can, with everything is off, I can turn my main power back on. At least I think I can. Oh, that was a little risky actually. And now I can start turning one back on at a time. That's it, done. So now I can put this panel back up. And that's that. That's gonna be my generator connection. So if I ever lose power, I just need to grab my generator, turn it on, plug that wire in, plug the other end into there. Let's open this up. Turn this off, turn these on, and my whole house will have power. Well, 20 amps at least. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Hope you guys like it. Hope that was helpful. And let's see if this storm comes and we survive here. Thanks for watching.